guys, it's Kelly. I'm back with another process video. This layout is for Citrus Twist kits, and I am using their January Sugarland kit. I'm using the main kit, the Project Life kit, and the pattern paper and embellishment kits. So this ampersand was designed by Kira based off of the Crate Paper Good Vibes ephemera, and I love it. It has a very geometric background which works well with these papers, and I decided that I wanted to back it with different papers, and I want my pattern color scheme to basically go with that yellow floral that you see in that right hand side. That was my favorite Project Life card, and so what I'm trying to do is just find colors that will work well with that card, and I am going to use that card to back some of the different areas in the ampersand, but I'm going to kind of gut it so that I can still use the outside edges to back my photo. So right now I'm not sure which photo I'm going to be scrapbooking, whether it be a picture of me and my daughter or me and my mom. I'm thinking that it's going to be me and my daughter simply because it's closer up. The photo of me and my mom, she's wearing a very busy shirt, and even though it is black and white, there's still a lot of pattern and contrast to the photo. So I'm thinking that with all of the different pattern papers that the closer up photo is going to look better, but I'm just going to wait and see until I finish it. So I've decided that I want to outline the ampersand with some embroidery floss, and I'm going to hand stitch this. And I wanted to let you know, sometimes, whether I hand stitch or machine stitch kind of depends on how big the project is or what kind of space I'm dealing with. The outside edge of this ampersand was pretty thick, and I knew that if I did machine stitching, I felt like it would not have as much of a statement. So I used all 6 strands of the embroidery floss so that when you look at the close-up detail, you can see just how much of an impact it truly did make on the file. So I am going to gut these cards. If it has a good saying on it, I could still make it work, and I like to see what I can I like to gut it and see if I can make it work somewhere else. That particular card, that aqua card, has just a gorgeous pattern, and I was going to see if maybe I could get another part of it to work on a different area of the photo cluster. And I do end up putting it, I layer it at the bottom, although when everything is said and done and I have this put on the page, you really can't see that second layer of that pattern. But for me, I'd rather just, cut it and see how much I can stretch this. When I'm doing the layers behind the photo, I just want little bits of color to poke out. The die cut is really busy, but in a soft way, and I just wanted to add little bits of color behind the photo, but nothing that was crazy, just enough to make the photo stand out. So I am going to back the ampersand, and that does take a while, so I did cut that out. This layout probably took me just over 2 hours to complete, just with backing the ampersand, and I did do this over a couple of days. So I do want to use this title. It says "Oh So Happy." It is from Crate Paper Good Vibes collection as well. I love the scripty font. I think it is adorable. It's a fun font, and I was just happy to be able to use that. And the little bird was adorable, and I really liked the way that the little bird nestled with the title and was looking up at us. I just thought that made a cute little embellishment. So what I'm trying to do now is, I feel like that the left side of my layout is not heavy per se, it's design heavy. The colors are light, so it doesn't seem to be too heavy, but I'm trying to see if maybe I can balance it with some strips of pattern paper. And I really like this white and black. The black is kind of like wonky squares, and I really like that, and I'm trying to see if I want it to be one, you know, whole strip or a couple of different strips, you know, with that yellow paper added, and I don't like the yellow added to it whatsoever, and I really think that I'm going to go with the black and white, but I am going to play around with it. So you're going to see I'm going to actually move it over to the left hand side for whatever reason. I don't know, because I've already, you know, in my head I felt like the layout was, you know, already heavy to the left side. I think maybe what I was thinking is if I just had enough white space on the other side that it would help balance it, but I really am not liking it that way. So I am going to move it back over to the right hand side, and I do like the way that it looks. So one of the things that the kit had, there's several different leaf chipboard pieces in the Good Vibes section in the Good Vibes collection, and I wanted to see if I could get a couple of those used on this page. I felt like if I could put a couple of them underneath the ampersand with the flowers, that it would be a great way to use chipboard without really making the page that much thicker. Since I have popped up the ampersand, the chipboard's not going to make that much of a difference. I don't like to make all of my layouts with this much dimension, but if I do it every now and then, I'm fine with it. You know, I'd rather have a layout that I love with little details like this than all flat pages. You know, and be able to put like 2 or 4 more layouts in my album. To me, it's not about quantity, it's about just the time that I'm spending. So I did line up the squares, and that was a little bit difficult since it's, you know, a 6x6 paper pad, but I was able to make it work. And in doing so, it's a little bit more narrow at the top than it is the bottom, but that didn't bother me as much. I felt like because the print was wonky in itself, that it didn't matter if the strip was the same size up top and the bottom. But I do like the way that that black and white just adds a little bit of contrast, and it adds some interest on that side of the page as well. So I do want a couple of clusters around the ampersand. I feel like that the bird is nice, but you know, there's something else that's needed. So I do cut out quite a bit, because I will be honest with you, I moved chipboard pieces around until I just had to get up and walk away and come back to it. And, you know, just figure out that simple was better. And it ends up being right where I have, you know, the clusters now, except for, you know, that the flowers are maybe a little bit different. But, you know, for me, this is the fun part. It's kind of like the icing on the cake, and, you know, decorating your cake. It just makes it fun. I like to see how the layout's going to progress and how it's going to come together. And, you know, it's so fun to work with these gorgeous products. I can't talk. I did cut, like I said earlier, I did cut quite a bit of it out though. I'm not sure why I was so indecisive today. Sometimes I feel like if I have too many things to pick from, it's more difficult for me to actually get it done on the page. And, you know, at this point, what I was thinking with that pink piece is I was wondering if I needed another little pop of that darker pink. But I decided that the pink in the bird was enough pink to balance out the other 2 pinks. It doesn't have to be the exact color match. Nothing has to be exact, or at least for me. You know, close enough is good enough. So again, I'm just messing with these paper strips, trying to see if there's anything else that I want to add for interest, and it's like I'm trying to do too much. And that's one of the things that I finally figured out, was that I was trying to make it too interesting when it really was already interesting enough. Does that make sense? Anybody else have that problem? Sometimes it's hard to say when, you know, when to stop. I'm a pretty clean scrapbooker, I think, even though that I, you know, do like to mess and mix media. And I think what I was trying to do was maybe a little bit of a style that's not quite mine. And so I had to just pull myself back and what I end up with, though, I really like. So I do have some close-ups at the end. Be sure and stick around and look at those. That's where you can see the detail of the stitching of the white on white. And I really feel like those detail shots are what make it worth it if you've never tried it, so you could see just how much of an impact it actually makes. So one of the things, you know, I told you I cut out with this video a lot of me just moving the same embellishments around. The only thing that you missed was I stamped on a scratch piece of paper. The stamp that came with the kit, it said "Counting My Blessings," and I cut it out just so I could see how it looked on the background before I stamped it, just because I didn't want to have to, you know, rip everything up if I didn't like the way it looked. So that's a nice little cheat way to figure out if you want to stamp on your background. So that's it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed this. This was fun to make, and I really love the way that it came out. The cut file was a lot of fun to play with, and it is not a subscriber exclusive. If you are a member of the Facebook group, you can find the cut file. So thanks so much for joining me. I really appreciate all your likes and your comments. They do make my day, and I try to get back to you as soon as I can. I will see you soon. Take care. Bye.